What's up, fellow patronites? I hope you guys have been all doing okay. Welcome to the educational video for the month of July, and as always, many thanks for all of you who support ExtremePhillyFishing on social media. Let's let's continue our discussion where we stopped last month, right? Just summarizing, I gave you guys a little bit of a lesson, right, on the different types of predatory fish out there in the wild, according to the realm of ichthyology, right, the science, the study of fishes. So we talked a little bit about rover predators. Actually, the right pronunciation would be rover predators. We talked a little bit about lie-in-wait predators, deep-bodied predators, and I don't think we went into bottom feeders, right? But bottom feeders would really be like catfish or carp, etc. Since you guys, two of you guys requested me to do a video a little bit more specifically on bass, okay? On game fish, I would just say it this way, right? I'm doing this month's video focusing on rover predators and lie-in-wait predators. So for today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about how to target these two specific types of predatory fish during summer time, okay? And I really hope that you are all here in the United States, so it is summertime for you as well, okay? The thing with rover predators and lie-in-wait predators during summertime is that they really seek cooler water temperatures. This is something that you should pay attention to. It doesn't matter where you are around the country, right? So when you go there to your local lake, your local pond, your local reservoir, your local creek, you should always seek water during this time of the year, okay? Which they already did their spawning, they're good to go, they're just fooling around, as I like to say. You should really seek the spots where the water is cooler. And what are some spots where the water is cooler? That is very simple to answer, right? One spot always is a spot that has current. When there is current during summertime, you just know that that location right there is going to have higher oxygen, that's number one, and temperatures are going to be cooler, okay? So if you're fishing a creek, all right, and you want to catch, or even, you know, a river, or you want to catch a rover predator, or even a lie-in-wait predator, right? One cool spot right there is always that little set of rapids that ends in a deep pool, that ends in a little eddy. Those are the places that you really want to hitch, because not only that place is a cooler place because you got running water, right? That is also a place where fish are going to be stacked to feed, all right? Fish are lazy. Fish are opportunistic. Every time they are down there, you know, they're seeking the spots where it's best for them to feed. They are not going to go after the food if they can, you know, they are going to be waiting for the food to come to them. You guys probably heard this many times already in your life. So if they are in that specific spot, okay, where you have water moving towards them, first glance, when something comes down and it is edible, that fish is going to swing at it, okay? So these type of places, it is really good to throw, for example, a soft plastic that sinks naturally. I'm thinking right away, Gary Yamamoto Senko, all right? Senko is an awesome lure to throw in places like this after a set of rapids. You throw it out there, you let the water drag it, it sinks slowly, it has a wobbling action. Lie-in-wait predators and rover predators are going to bite that right away. It is an awesome place for you to throw baits that resemble fish, all right? Especially soft plastics. For example, a tube. If you have never used a tube before, put the tube in a little jig head, right, so it sinks. Throw it out there, and you will see they will bite on it, you know? It is an awesome place for you to test different types of lures, pretty much, okay? So that's one spot in rivers, creeks, or even lakes, all right? Because lakes and reservoirs, they always have, not always, but most of the times they have areas where the water flows in and water flows out, right? Those areas are all good to hitch spots during summertime, okay? Spillways are good, dams are good, wing dams are good, anywhere where you have still water, okay, come in contact with rapids, or rapids coming in contact with the still water is a good spot during summertime. Now, you may look at me and say, Leo, I don't have anything of that close to where I live, right? Fear it not, my friend, because there are other places where you can catch light and weight predators and rover predators, right? And now I'm talking about the second place where they can find cooler water, which is under cover, okay? If your lake has cover, any type of cover, okay, you will be able to catch some line-weight predators and rover predators. And by the way, if you missed last month's lecture and you have no idea what I'm talking about, right? Rover predators would be, for example, fishes in the bass family, okay? For example, the largemouth bass, the Micropterus salmoides, or the smallmouth bass, the Micropterus dolomiel, okay? And line-weight predators would be, for example, fishes in the Ezoxidae family, okay, I'm talking about the pickerel pike family, right? I'm talking about the chain pickerel, Ezox niger, the northern pike, Ezox lucius, or even the muskellunge, Ezox muskinongi. Those are all fishes that are line-weight predators. Another fish that is a line-weight predator that a lot of people don't know about, right, is the northern snakehead, the Channa argus, okay? Or if you go down south, you have the bullseye snakehead, the Channa marulius. Those are line-weight predators as well. So these tips and hints that I'm giving you right now, they will work for all these different types of fish, okay? Not to mention that not always line-weight predators and rover predators will take advantages of cooler spots, right? You have other types of fish, for example, deep-bodied fish, who sometimes will also take advantage of that, okay? I'm talking about bluegill, right? The sunfish family, they're all deep-bodied species of fish. The bluegill, Lepomis macrocerus, pumpkin seed, Lepomis gibbosus, warmouth, Lepomis gulosus, right? You name it, black crappie, Pomoxis nigromaculatus, white crappie, Pomoxis annularis, all those are deep-bodied fish, and they may take advantage of that. So coming back to what I was saying, right? The second place that you really want to hit during summertime is close to cover, okay? There are two things that you can do around cover. And by cover, I mean, for example, a layer of vegetation on top of a lake or on top of a reservoir, or even in creeks nowadays, they have the top of vegetation, okay? Grass mats that stand on top, that works as well if there is that in your area. And not to mention one that folks don't usually think about it, overhanging trees, okay? Those are not really considered cover, but they provide areas of shade for fish where the water temperature is indeed cooler. So if you have anywhere in your lake, right, it's a very hot summer afternoon, it's like 80-90 degrees out there, and you see that one little shaded spot, okay, under trees, right, and you know that the water there is just going to be cooler, you want to throw something there for sure, all right? Now, I can't guarantee you there's going to be a fish there, but you get the idea, right? You want to throw something there for sure, all right, folks? So, you know, things to do around cover, as I was saying, right? You have two options. You can work your lures on top of the cover, and by doing that, you are throwing, for example, mice, right? Fake mice or fake frogs, right? Any of those top water lures will work really well, okay? And, you know, you just throw it on top of it, right? Steady retrieve or give a few twitches. If you go out there on your local lake, one thing that you can do is you can observe before fishing. So you just stay still for 10-20 minutes, find a shaded spot for yourself, and see if there's any top water activity. This is something very, very smart to do, because if you see a bass over there at spot X, right, that just got something on top of the water, you know that that bass is going to stay around if that bass missed it, okay? If that bass got a big bluegill or whatever, a big frog, you know, it may be done for the day. It may not bite anymore. But that is a very good spot for you to go and attempt and throw your lures, all right? This is just one example. So observation, right? Empirical evidence is always very important when it comes to the sport of fishing. Go out there, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and see, you know, if there's top water action, put a frog on and throw it out there. If you see there is no top water action, especially in the morning and at nighttime, then you switch to technique number 2. And technique number 2 is to work around the cover. You are working under the premises that those light weight and rover predators are hiding under the cover, right? So what you want to do is you want to throw lures that are very close to the cover, at the edges. If you see a patch of vegetation, right, and then it goes out there, there's no more vegetation, you want to throw something there that sinks naturally, okay, right next to the cover. You want to use something, right, that swims naturally right next to the cover, so maybe the fish will come out from the cover and give a swing at it, okay? This is the second technique that during summertime works really well for limeweight predators and rover predators. Particularly myself, I like to throw senkos or any other slow sinking soft baits, okay, right next to cover, because when I do it, you never know when a pickerel is going to come out and get it. You never know when a largemouth bass is going to come out and get it. And when it does, you know, most of the times, especially if the cover is close to you, you can see the fish do that. Especially if you have a set of polarized sunglasses. So the feeling, you know, it is a great feeling, right? And I would just give an example of what I am talking about. 2 years ago, my friend went fishing at Lake Nokamixon here in Pennsylvania. It is a trophy lake for muskellunge, okay? The Lesox muskinonge. There's tiger muskellunge, there tiger muskie over there as well, right? Which is the hybrid between northern pike and muskellunge. And you know, he was just punching senkos right next to cover, just like I just described to you guys. And his goal was really to land a few largemouth bass in the range of 3 to 4 pounds. Suddenly, okay, something gets his senko, drags it under the cover, and next thing you know, it is like a battle of a lifetime, alright? He landed a huge muskie, okay? And to end the story here, he didn't land only one muskie that day. He landed 2 muskies, alright? So, you know, of course he was from a boat, so he had access to spots that people usually don't fish at. But you get the idea, right? Those muskellunge on a hot summer afternoon, they were just waiting right under the cover for something to pass, for something to fall under the tree so that they could feed on it. And I would like to comment a little, before finishing this video, I would like to comment a little bit more on the third aspect of summer fishing, the third hidden technique, which is really to fish shaded areas, okay, folks? Of course, structure all around here, right? Structure is important. You go to places where you have structure, stumps, right, logs, any type of thing that is down there, your river, reservoir, lake, your body of water, that works as a structure, you are going to find fish. But summertime, shaded areas are really good, especially after you hit that dawn and that dusk, right? Anglers tend to follow the rule of D&D. I'm not talking about Dungeons and Dragons, right? I'm talking about dawn and dusk. Dawn and dusk are awesome. Doesn't matter what time of the year you go out there to hit for those fish. But after that, it gets tricky, you know, throughout the day, it gets tricky. And that's why I'm saying, you know, when it gets throughout the day, right, you really want to hit those places that are shaded during the summer. The water is just so much cooler, especially if you have overhanging trees, all right? That is essential because fish are always waiting for something to fall from the tree, you know? That's why Gary Yamamoto senkos tend to work really good, okay, if you throw it under a tree, or any other type of worm insect imitation. That will work really well if you throw it under a tree. Why? Because that fish is just conditioned to hit something that splashes on top of the water under a tree. That fish knows. Maybe that fish in the past has eaten something that fell from the tree and it was delicious for it. You know, that's why if you have overhanging trees, if you have any type of vegetation on your local waters that creates a shaded spot, go for it. Give it a try. Of course, you gotta take in consideration that that, you know, all these spots that I told you guys, right, are kind of risky. You know, you have to have a certain level of skill to fish those places. What am I talking about? You throw your stuff right next to cover and you don't have the right equipment, you don't have the right line, and the fish drags your stuff under the cover, you're gonna complain the hell out of it because you will probably lose the fish. You will probably get it snagged on like 3 pounds of vegetation and you won't be able to bring the fish in. right? Same thing with overhanging trees. People tell me these things all the time, right? Oh man, I just can't fish over overhanging trees because every time I throw, it gets on the tree, right? So you get the idea, right? If you want to become a better angler, it doesn't help just to know what is in the books, right? I'm giving you all the hints and tips from my own experience and from things that I have read before. But ultimately, if you want to become a better angler, you need to go there and you need to work on your skills. Make sure you have the appropriate gear for fishing all these locations. If you are punching frogs out there, don't be like me and my frog video on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Don't use fluorocarbon line, right? I just did that day because I did it on a whim. It was not the right thing to do. Make sure you have 20 pounds braided line so that when you give that hook satch, you know, your line's not going to break. Make sure you have a rod that is like medium, you know, medium or medium heavy. So when you give that hook satch, you know, your rod's gonna have enough power to hook that fish, right? If you're fishing around cover and the fish drags under the cover, make sure you have make sure you have the appropriate equipment so that you can drag the vegetation plus the fish right in front of you, and so on, right? If you want to cast under trees, right, under overhanging trees, just make sure you have the right cast, right? Under the hand cast, that works really well, right? Flip it under it, right? That works really well. So, you know, you have all these different casting styles. You need a certain amount of dexterity to do that. But if you have the skills and now you know the hints and tips, you can go on the water and truly do some huge damage. So, fellow patronites, this is the video, right, for the educational video for the month of July. We still have a little bit of summer going on, right? We still have the whole August coming. So, you know, go out there and try to catch some game fish. You know, it is lots and lots of fun. But again, don't waste your time. Go out there, you know, and don't go throwing your stuff just like in the middle of the lake, right? Some people really believe that the harder you cast, more out there, bigger fish you are going to catch, when in reality, that 5-pound bass could be right in front of you, under that little topped vegetation, right there, and you are casting it out there without knowing like what to do, right? Summertime, remember, when water temperatures are hot, fish are always seeking cooler water. You have fountains in your lake, reservoir, whatever, fish next to the fountain, all right? Fish around the fountain. You have cover. Try to imagine what is under that cover. You have currents, right, that lead to a place where you have eddies or deep pools, right? That is a place where oxygen is higher, water is cooler. You have obstructions in your body of water, such as dams and etc. That is a good place to fish at, okay? So anyways, I hope you learned a lot from this month's educational video. I know it is a little bit delayed. I should have released this on the 15th, but fellow patronites, don't be disappointed, all right? I'm trying my best to keep everything up to date. Next month, I'm going to bring you another video. I'm going to focus a little bit more on panfish this time. So we're going to talk a little bit more about deep-bodied fish. Not only are they delicious to eat, okay, especially crappie. Crappie are truly delicious. They are a lot of fun to catch, you know, especially if you have kids, right? You go out there, you want your kids to enjoy some fight, get your ultralight gear and go after those fish. So next month, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to catch different types of sunfish, different types of, you know, of fish in the sunfish family, right, including the crappie. We're going to talk a little bit about perch, and we're going to talk about a little bit about their behavior overall. What is exactly that they do during summertime. Alrighty, so stay tuned for next month's video. Once again, thank you very much for contributing to me on Patreon. I'm going to keep bringing you guys, you know, these educational videos so that you can become a better angler. Tie lines and fish on, fellas.